time now for the hot sauce. Did you know March is Women's History Month, and we are talking about some women's issues today, especially in the hot sauce. We are joined by Heather Filipowicz of the Western New York Women's Foundation, the executive director. We're so excited to have you on the couch today. I think this is a great opportunity, not only for us to talk, but for the folks at home to start thinking about some of these issues. Really some great women's issues in the forefront of the media right now, including the COO of Facebook. She just released a new book, has a lot of folks talking.
Lean In is her new book, and it's a great dialogue to have in the community throughout the world. Cheryl has a great platform to be talking about women's issues, what it's like to be a woman in the workforce. Can we have it all?
Right.
What does balance look like? It's a great conversation to be having.
You know, I think one of the really interesting things about this book, and you're just starting to read it, and I'm just reading all the reviews, I need to get a copy of it, but one of the things that she's really promoting is not just mentorship between women, but sponsorship, and really helping to pull other women up and promote them and really create that kind of growth. Well, let's talk about that challenge and exciting opportunity for women.
You know, every time I speak to groups, I always talk about supporting the sisterhood, helping each other out. I think any woman who has been successful, whether it be in the workplace or at home, has had that person who has given them a chance, and that other woman who's been their confidant, who's given them tips and tricks, and really been that honest voice for them. It's critical. You
know, and I was even thinking about the difference between mentorship and sponsorship, because, you know, there are some younger women that I've worked with who I'll talk as long as they'll let me talk about all the advice I can give. But it's even more than that, really, when the opportunity arises to be able to stand up for that person and say, you know what, I believe in this person. Hey, you know, you should give them a job. You should give them this chance, and really being an advocate for the people who are coming up underneath you. How important do you think that is for women?
I think it's critical, because for us to have someone saying that on our behalf and believing in us, that's a confidence booster for us as women, but also in the workforce to say this person is someone we should believe in and work together. It's critical.
Great way to support all the women out there who deserve the support
That's
as
true.
well. Governor Cuomo also in the news talking about women's issues. Let's talk a little bit about what he's doing.
So Governor Cuomo has a 10-point Equality Act for women, and we talk about how are we having conversations to have a legislative conversation and have the conversations that Cheryl's having. All of that combined is great momentum for women and equality. So if we're talking about equal pay, if we're talking about domestic violence protection, if we're talking about reproductive health, all of those things are part of his 10-point plan that are critical for women and the advancement of equality throughout the state.
You know, and that's interesting. It is still such an issue. I remember, you know, the equal rights, you know, movement back in the 70s, but, you know, women are in higher education more, women are in the workplace more, and yet not necessarily in the positions of power that maybe should be represented, I think, as well as they could be. So it's nice to hear women kind of taking an active role, and the governor taking a stance and getting this conversation going.
Well, we're 50% of the population. Here in Western New York, we're 55% of the population. A recent publication of the most powerful people in Western New York, out of 200, only 30 were women. So when we're talking about, if we're 50% of the population, we should be 50% of the power, not 15% of the power. We have to be at 15%. We have to be at the table. We have to use our voice, and we have to support each other.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You do a great job with the organization, and we look forward to partnering more with you throughout.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
I appreciate it as well.